Back True Seeker. Just figured out something huge about the upcoming NFL playoffs. It's January 1st, 2018. Thanks to someone out in Minnesota who reminded me about the 98-99 NFL season and Gary Anderson of the Vikings' huge miss in the playoffs, the 38-yarder. Figured out something gigantic about part of the scripted narrative for this upcoming Super Bowl. In case you're new here, you'll notice that I hardly have any subscribers. That's because I'm on my 11th channel since June. YouTube continues to delete me for exposing what I do. Earlier this year, they deleted one of my channels over exposing the rigging in the Kansas City Chiefs Monday Night Football game. YouTube is censoring my content because it is too damaging to all of the lies and deception that come through media, from rigged elections to rigged sports. Anyway, January 27th, 2016, back when I had subscribers before they deleted my main channel, I was made fun of by the USA Today for exposing what Super Bowl 50 would be in October of that year. Said exactly what to look for. It all came true. Broncos over Panthers, Von Miller MVP, Black Panther tribute in the game, which came at halftime through Beyonce and her costumes. Remember, there were articles written about it afterwards. And I was explaining, Super Bowl, all scripted with your news. You got all this race war symbolism. That's why they're going to have a white Bronco beat a Black Panther with a Newton on the side of his helmet. With a Black Panther on the side of his helmet when Huey P. Newton established the Black Panther Party in the Bay Area. There's so much more to that story. But for doing all that exposing, talking about how the game would be a tribute to Super Bowl 24, and lo and behold, the Broncos won with 24 points. Broncos got blown out in Super Bowl 24 by the 49ers, who hosted Super Bowl 50 in the Bay Area. The score was 55-10. Elway was 55 years old, so were the Broncos when that Super Bowl was played, where the Broncos just won in San Francisco. Anyway, for exposing all that, USA Today made fun of me. Wrote a long article. They even linked my YouTube videos, which you could watch at the time. But since my channel's been deleted, it's all gone. You know, Google trying to censor me. 11th channel since June of 2017. So, USA Today wrote that article. Since then, other publications have taken stabs at me for exposing sports rigging. Just recently, November 20th of this year, Vice Sports wrote about me for exposing the World Series. Told everybody that Astros would beat the Dodgers at the beginning of September. Said it was all about the number 52. It was all about the number 52. The Astros did beat the Dodgers for the exact reasons I said they would. Explaining to people, we're living in an Orwellian novel. This was a riddle with George Orwell's 1984. It's a lot to explain, but if you watched my videos that were up, I was showing all these things from history, why the Astros were going to beat the Dodgers. Sports Illustrated on George Orwell's birthday, the author who said all it took to control people was sports, alcohol, and gambling, on his birthday, they put out the story years in advance that the Astros would win the World Series in 2017. George Orwell, who had that quote about sports, alcohol, and gambling, he also said that weather warfare was the weapon of the future. And I explained that the World Series would be the Astros over the Dodgers because of the weather warfare, the flooding and the fires, which were all done on purpose. And if you doubt that, I said exactly what day Houston was going to flood days before it did flood. Because everything in this world is done by the same code. It's because Freemasonry is running the show. They're treating this world like it's a big puppet stage. Technology to cause flash flooding has existed since 1952. People need to pay attention to more than just sports games, which is the purpose of my work, to wake people up to where they live, what the point of these sports games are, to distract you and to sell advertisements to you and tell you to join the military and be all you can be in the New World Order mercenary force. This is the point of my work, you know. People say, why don't you do it for money? I always explain that. I'm not here for money. I don't want to pay more taxes. I'm trying to shut down the system. I'm trying to get people to wake up and rebel, not be a part of it, not benefit from it. You know, I can take care of myself without gambling. And I got free time to spread the news about the rigging so I can wake up the fellow sheep, the flock. But anyway, Vice Sports tried to trash me You want to know what's so funny about this? This guy makes fun of me in the number 52 in a million ways because that's what I talked about. Matt Harvey, the first pitcher in Houston after the flooding of Harvey, exactly 52 days before the World Series began. The words hurricane and flood have gematria 52 plus a whole lot more. But look at this. This article that made fun of me and made fun of the number 52, look at the author's name. Sean Newell. 52. Remember? And this is what I've been teaching you guys for years. The media, they get the right people to write this propaganda with the right name numbers to fit the story. This is what I was teaching about in 2013. Now the mainstream media is actually doing it to me, There's somebody watching right now who's like, man, this guy's crazy. Nah, dumb motherfucker, wake the fuck up. It's you who's a brain dead fucking idiot. When somebody's out here making videos saying Houston's going to flood on the 239th day of the year because it's the 52nd prime and the word flood equals 52, and they've admitted since 1952 that they know how to cause flash flooding by the numbers, and they've flooded and killed places before and said it was an accident. When you don't know about that stuff and you're calling the person crazy who does, it's just because you're a fucking moron. So anyway, flood 52, hurricane 52. What did I just show you about the Houston Astros winning Game 7 of the World Series 5-1, and then 51 days later, the SpaceX rocket launching over Los Angeles and James Harden of the Houston Rockets scoring 51 in back-to-back games while in Los Angeles. I mean, to think all of this stuff is just coincidence is just idiocy. Idiocy. It's all scripted, the sports and the news. That's why I'm being made fun of. Not because I'm wrong or as this says up here, a wacko. That's the programming for the brain dead sheep, which all of you are who watch pro sports and don't know they're fake, because it couldn't be any more fucking obvious, especially if you've ever played a sport in your life. I know there's all sorts of good athletes in this country. I know there's all sorts of people who watch these games and think, man, why am I not out there? I didn't fuck up like that even when I played in high school. These pro athletes who get paid millions, make the dumbest mistakes, can't complete the simplest plays, act like they have no knowledge of what to do in a game situation when this is their fucking life. And people fall for this? This is all being, this is all a mocking. Meant to treat you like you're fucking retarded. And that's because the people who own these leagues, they do think you're fucking retarded. They call you goyim. So now all that said, little intro, let's get to what's going to happen in these playoffs. You see? So this was the 98-99 season. Gary Anderson, big miss for the Vikings in the playoffs against the Falcons. And the reason that matters is because this is the 98th season of the NFL. The Vikings are hosting the Super Bowl. Scroll down here real quick. Vikings has gematria of 98. Minnesota has gematria. Where did I put it? It's down here. 52. 52nd season of the Super Bowl. Or 52nd Super Bowl season, but 98th season of the NFL. That's because the AFL and NFL didn't merge until the 47th season. So anyway, 19 years ago. Now check this out. This is where we're going to begin. Do you remember, Vikings fans, 2016 playoffs? Blair Walsh missed a chip shot, a 27-yarder. Maybe you're one of the tens of thousands of people who saw my video and made fun of me. It was full of nothing but comments about what a lunatic I was because I was explaining this was an example of scripted sports, that Blair Walsh purposefully missed the 27-yarder. Now I can definitively prove that he missed it, and it's all part of the ongoing script of NFL seasons, which I've been explaining. Each NFL season is scripted together. It's an ongoing narrative. It's a storybook. This is chapter 52, or maybe it's chapter 98, asterisk 52. But anyway, this miss right here, Blair Walsh against the Seahawks, connected to what happened yesterday, December 31st, 2017, with Blair Walsh, now a member of the Seahawks, missing against a different bird team, the Cardinals. Falcons, who Gary Anderson missed against. Seahawks. What's the other bird team in the NFC? The Eagles. Eagles and Vikings have the top teams this year, top records. I said after week 3 why the Eagles are going to be 10-1 and why they were a favorite to be in the Super Bowl in the NFC. They did become 10-1. They're tied with the best record with Minnesota. 13-3. 4 teams with that record. Minnesota happens to equal 133 in gematria as well. In case you're new here, notice there's these four base ciphers. English ordinal. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z is 26. Reverse ordinal. Z is 1, up to A is 26. These are the rules of numerology. And for those of you who remember Gary Anderson's kick, it was a 38-yarder, which we'll get to. The new stadium, US Bank Stadium, 38. But anyway, Gary Anderson's miss was 19 years ago. It was the 98-99 season. Now it's the 2017-18 season, 19 years later. Look at the miss of Blair Walsh's game, 10-9, 19 points. This new miss with Blair Walsh as a member of the Seattle Seahawks now. He missed with the Vikings. Now he's a Seahawk, and he missed to close out the Seahawks season. Seattle 19. You see? And to prove that this is all scripted together, here's what I showed yesterday. Blair Walsh missed his 27-yarder January 10th, 2016. 1 plus 10 plus 16 is 27. 27. The name Walsh has gematria of 27. I know what it is. There was something else I want to show you about the name Walsh. Walsh, if you use the S exception where S is 10, Walsh is also 27 this way. Multiple connections to 27. He missed a 27-yarder on January 10th, 16. 1 plus 10 plus 16, 27. This is what I was explaining that day. That's the ritual number. That's why so many rock stars die at age 27. Ritual 27. So look at this. Blair Walsh, from the day he missed the 27-yarder to his miss with the Seahawks, 721 days later, or 103 weeks. And the reason that matters is because 103 is the 27th prime number. Hundred and three, 27th prime. You see? 27-yarder. That was a miss against the Seahawks. Now he's a Seahawk missing. He happened to miss a 48-yarder to close out the season. Seahawks lost with 24 points. You know? Seahawks won Super Bowl 48. Super Bowl 52 will be the 48th Super Bowl of the modern era. And remember, Seattle Seahawks won Super Bowl 48 with 43 points. You see that? So Blair Walsh, symbolic misses and part of a riddle. And this miss yesterday, December 31st miss coming against the Cardinals, another bird team, just like how 19 years ago, Gary Anderson missed against the Falcons. And I'm sorry if I'm being too redundant for you. I just know a lot of people need a lot of redundancy to follow. So now here's where it gets good. Gary Allen Anderson. He had the perfect 98 season before the miss in the playoffs to start 99. Notice his name equals 98. Perfect 98 season. Now we're in the 98th season of the NFL. Vikings 98. You see that? His miss was a 38-yarder. Missed a 38-yarder. Wait a minute. Oh, it's up here. It's up top. I thought I missed the clip. So there's what happened. Gary Anderson missed the 38-yard field goal. Falcons got the all back with 2:07. See that? So 38. Again, Minnesota 38, US Bank Stadium 38. Talk more about Prince, who died by that number 38. A lot of celebrities died by that number of death. What's interesting is if you write out 38 as a word, it sums to 58. And Gary Anderson, who missed the kick, currently 58 years old. Also interesting is that this is the Vikings' 57th season. The game that they lost had 57 points. The name Gary has gematria 57. Gary Anderson missed the field goal that would have tied it. Remember, if you write out 57, it sums to 131 like championship, like Super Bowl. See? Talked about the death of Denny Green by the numbers. Denny Green died the day before they opened the stadium to the fans that's going to host Super Bowl 52. Show you this real quick. Just in case you weren't here, this is all stuff that's been censored. Talked about this last year, the day it was reported Denny Green died. Talked about how it could be a riddle for the Vikings to possibly play in Super Bowl 52. The day Denny Green died was 52 days before the home opener for Minnesota last year, September 11, 2016. As we talked about, Minnesota equals 52, hosting Super Bowl 52. Denny Green dead 52 days before the opener, the year playing in the new stadium to host Super Bowl 52. He also died, his birthday was February 17th. He died 155 days after his birthday using the alphabetic order. U.S. Bank Stadium, 155. You see? Denny Green, a ritual sacrifice for the Super Bowl. He died on a date with 44 numerology. The Super Bowl is on a date with 44 numerology. Notice that Super Bowl also has a gematria of 112. Last year, this was the reason I gave the Colts a shot before the season began, before things played themselves out. And I said, if it's not the Colts, look for the Patriots, which is who it ended up being. But Houston equals 112, just like Super Bowl. Andrew Luck played his high school ball in Houston. Andrew Luck equals 112. His mother's name's 112. Horseshoe equals 112, the Colts symbol. His father used to play for the Houston Oilers. Last year, the Colts played in Houston 112 days before the date of the Super Bowl. I saw that in the scheduling, and I saw all the tributes to 112. They were reviewing Peyton Manning, who just retired, and they were talking a lot about his 112 touchdown passes to Marvin Harrison. There was all this Colts 112 Super Bowl stuff. Those types of things, they can have you look at a team that's not necessarily going to be the champion. But as I've been showing each year, there's always these riddles with the Colts and Patriots, which is why I was saying last year, if I'm wrong about the Colts, it'll be the Patriots. It's just like how in 2014, I predicted early in the season that the Colts had a major narrative going, and that year the Patriots win as well. We've been learning as we go. But anyway, Prince and 112. Prince died April 21st, 2016, the 112th day of the year. Performed in Super Bowl 42, the only halftime show in the rain, 4/2, rain 42. See these numbers on the screen if you're looking. But here's what I want you to see. April 21st, it was a leap year, 1996 or 2016, the year he died. That's the 112th day of the year. You see that? So these are things we've been talking about for a long time. But April 21st, 2016, 4 plus 21 plus 16 was also a date with 41 numerology like Super Bowl, and Prince performed in Super Bowl 41. Now, the reason that matters is because if you write out 19 as a word, it sums to 41. We just saw the Eagles, a bird team, defeat the Raiders on Christmas Day with 19 points. That was 41 days before the Super Bowl. Whoops, that thing got in the way, but December 25th, 2017 to February 4th, 2018 is 41 days. Christmas, Eagles win with 19, 41 days before the Super Bowl with the backup QB Nick. If you missed last week's radio show, somebody had a really good call on that. So if you're following, we're just talking about all these pieces coming together. Eagles, Vikings, top two teams in the NFC. Similar numbers. Gary Anderson. Whatever happens with this scripted narrative, whatever happens when this big missed field goal comes, it's going to be in connection to the kicker's birthday. So what you can do to get ahead of the narrative is look at the date numerology of the potential games. You can look at the birthdays of the kickers to the potential games, and you can see if any of these numbers come up in a big way. because when the missed field goal comes in whatever game they've scripted it for, I haven't researched this far ahead, but I'm telling you where you can go ahead now. What you want to do is you want to look at the kickers' names and measure from their birthday to the day of the game. This is how it's going to be scripted. Now, for example, let's look at Gary Anderson, the year he missed. He was born July 16th, 1959. He was 39 years old, months before turning 40. Tom Brady's 40 this year. When he missed, he was 39 at the time. He was the NFL draft class of 1982, 7th round pick, the 171st pick. And remember, he missed on January 17th. 17/1, something like 171. As I've explained, these men's careers are scripted. They're born and bred to be. They're chosen to be. They got the right names. They got the right birthdays. This has been going on for decades. Somehow all of this is being achieved. So you can use your imagination to see how they're getting there. But look, Gary Anderson, his miss on January 17th, here's all the things that are interesting about it. From the miss to his upcoming 40th birthday was a span of 181 days. And Gary Allen Anderson in Ordinal is 181. Perfect. It was also 185 days after his 39th birthday. Mathematics, 185. Consider mathematics is also 112, like 1 + 1 = 2, Super Bowl 112. In light of his 40th birthday upcoming, mathematics also 40. Something else worth mentioning. Because he was 39 years old that season, this is worth thinking about. We documented when Big Ben shut down this year, the clock in England. It shut down August 21st, 2017, the date of the solar eclipse in the U.S. They shut it down for 4 years, a long time. From that date to the Super Bowl is 167 days, which is the 39th prime number. Big Ben in gematria equals 39. Weird how Big Ben getting shut down lines up so well with the Super Bowl. And now even looking at this thing with Gary Anderson. Remember, the Vikings and Steelers have Super Bowl history. They were in Super Bowl IX. If Big Ben, the quarterback for the Steelers, goes to the Super Bowl this year and not the Patriots, and he won the Super Bowl, he could become 16-7. A lot like 167. Isn't it strange? And again, as a reminder, the Seahawks lost to the Cardinals. The Cardinals won with 26 points. Number I've been talking about all year. AFC wins the Super Bowl, they'll get their 26th. Minneapolis equals 62, the reflection. Look at this. The Patriots won their Week 17 matchup the same week that Blair Walsh missed this field goal against the Cardinals. The Patriots won their game 26-6. 26th Super Bowl for the AFC, 6th for Tom Brady. That's the way it would be. And think about how the whole Tom Brady story began in a game against the Jets. Mo Lewis sacked Drew Bledsoe. His career finished in New England. Tom Brady, the Patriot Acts, 9/11, Jets into Towers, New York Jets into Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. Don't forget, Tom Brady equals 35. Super Bowl on the 35th day of the year. It's the 98th season of the NFL. Patriots, 98, just like Tom Brady's 98. New England Patriots, also 98. How perfect. Also, with regards to Minneapolis equaling 62, remember in Super Bowl 51, Tom Brady threw 62 passing attempts. This year, the Patriots traded Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers on the day leaving 62 days left in the year. He finished his career with the 49ers this year, 62 days later. And Tom Brady also won the passing yardage record for quarterbacks this year, beating Phillip Rivers, who was second, by 62 yards. What are the odds? You're talking about 62 all year, and then it all lined up that way. And as I've been saying, all of these games are scripted from the box score to the final score, and it's these ongoing riddles that we show every year that prove this to be true. The 4 teams to finish 13-3. Again, Minnesota has the gematria of 133. They were the Steelers, who I said from the offseason, if there's any team to upset the Patriots, it's probably them. Their owner died 98 days before his 85th birthday. 98th NFL season, 85th Steelers season. National Football League equals 85. The Keystone State 85. Steelers over Browns, 28-24, 52 points. Year of Super Bowl 52. Cowboys beat the Eagles with 6. 6 has that gematria of 52. Eagles fell to 13-3. And I said being 13-3 would be a good thing at the end of Week 17 because how it connects to Minnesota. Here's Tom Brady, 62-yard margin, 45-77 over 45-15. Vikings and Bears combined for 33 points. And with regards to the Bears and the riddle with the Seahawks and Cardinals, don't forget that the Bears and the Cardinals are the 2 original NFL teams. You know what I mean? We're talking about this missed field goal by Blair Walsh yesterday. The Cardinals used to be from Chicago. Chicago Cardinals, Chicago Bears. 2 oldest NFL teams. National Football League 85. The Bears haven't won since the 85 season. The only team left in Chicago. But this is how we know. It's going to be scripted. It's going to involve a field goal. These are the rituals. These are the riddles that tell you what's ahead. So we'll be looking. Somebody's going to crack the code who does the homework on the kicker. And also, Alabama and Clemson playing each other for the 3rd year in a row. Last 2 years they were in the championship. That can't happen this year. 2 years ago, I guaranteed Alabama would beat Clemson. I showed how it was all lined up with the Heisman, how it was all perfect for Alabama. Last year, I said I was torn, but I said if I was going to bet, I'd bet on Clemson. And what I want to show you about last year's game, as a reminder, the winning catch was by Renfro, who wears the number 13. If you write out 13, it sums to 99. If you write out Renfro, it sums to 99. They beat Alabama, and they had 99 offensive plays in the game. 99, the total number of plays run by Clemson. The winner right here to number 13, Renfro. You see this? This year, the championship, which is later tonight, is on a date with numerology of 13. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8. January 1st. Let me see something real quick. Since we came this far, I might as well take a peek at it. 2018 posts. Let's see here. I just want to look at the records for the teams playing tonight. So consider it's January 1st. And in this playoff, you got Oklahoma versus Georgia. Remember what I showed before the Heisman this year? Look it up, you guys. It's this way all the time. Baker Mayfield. It's getting dark in here, isn't it? Baker Mayfield, 239. He won the Heisman 239 days after his birthday. How perfect. You know, talked about that before the Heisman. I said when Baker Mayfield takes it, just look at how perfect this is. It's all meant to be. It's all scripted. But anyhow, it's interesting that these two teams are meeting 12-1. That's a lot like 121, which has a square root of 11. Think about today's date, January 1st, 1-1, like 11 men on the field. I didn't do any homework here. But with regards to Alabama and Clemson, what's interesting to document, Clemson could get its 13th win over Alabama on a date with numerology of 13. Or Alabama could improve to 12-1. Today, 1-1 game. You know what I mean? 121, square root 11. The last two winners of Alabama and Clemson, the reason I liked one team to win over the other, Alabama the first time, and I favored Clemson a little bit last time, was because one team came into the game 12-1 and the other came in 13-0. And I pointed out that if one team won, or if the 12-1 team won, they'd be a 13-1. Remember we talked about championships 131, Super Bowl 131? So the last two times the team that's won has ended up with a record of 13-1. Or actually, hold on. Sometimes I try to go off memory, but now that I say it out loud, I'm like, wait, maybe that's not exactly right. Maybe it was the team that came in 13-1, and that's why I favored him. Let's find those stats. So that's how it was the last 2 years. The team that came in 13-1, I like them. And I explained how streaks end at 14, because both times the team that was 14-0 lost. You know? So... But no doubt, the point to take away is it's all scripted the same, you know? How can you deny something like this? And again, they script these games tight. Knowing Alabama's 13, the game's on a date with 13 numerology, does that mean Alabama's going to take it? Or does it mean Clemson's going to get their 13th win against them? And that's where you want to do more homework, which I have not done this year. So, let's see. But if you do want to do more homework, the thing to do is measure from the coaches to the date of the game, quarterback from the date of the game. This is always the way you want to do it. Measure. You know, you take the time to make the measurements, you'll see where and then you want to look at the distance in days and see how it connects to the names of the teams. Just like Gary Anderson missing the big field goal 181 days from his birthday, you know. And be sure to see this work I did on the death of Nick Saban's father. Again, to get to these positions in these rig sports leagues, you often have to give up people in your family. They write this story about Nick Saban's father nearly 45 years ago. The reason they did that is because Alabama, 13. If you write out 13, sums to 45, forwards and backwards. You know, when you understand gematria, you see how these articles are written. They bring up the death. Times were tough in the early 1970s in those small mining towns up down State Road 218. They emphasize that in this article about his father's death. And the reason why, let's go through this piece by piece. Why even bring that up in an article about his father's death? Death is a word with gematria of 218. Then here, in his mind's eye, he still sees the line out the church door for the funeral mass 44 years ago and the shoulder-to-shoulder crowd at the burial. He still feels the pain of a community rocked to its core from a sudden sickening loss when a 46-year-old. So again, where do these numbers come from? Kill 44, sacrifice 46. Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. In Hebrew, the words murder and kill equal 46. 44, 46, ritual death, all the time. Nick Saban's father was murdered for his rigged career at Alabama, which is what everyone's seeing. You know, that's what people need to understand. It's not about who's going to win or lose. It's about waking up to what's going on in this world. You know, all of you who follow my videos to know who's going to win or lose, you're not breaking out of the mind control, which is the reason I do this work. You're still in the mind control. You're looking at it the way they want you to look at it. I'm giving you this knowledge to see through the bullshit. To see how sick the bullshit is. Not only is it rigged, wasting everyone's time, people are getting murdered for this. You know? People are paying big money to go to school at Alabama. All these schools, not just Alabama, it's all of them. This goes on all over. You know? Penn State, just right before their bowl game, loses a former player named Adam. At age 26, just drops dead for no known reason. Adam, dead. Hey, in what verse of the Bible is the first man, Adam, created? Is it the 26th verse? It is. Again, this entire code, biblical. Football on Sundays. I'll let you take it from here. Connect the rest of the dots. I'll do some more research when I get time, but I wanted to share this piece. Until next time.